Hello, music fans. Let's keep going with my series of top 10 albums in every subgenre, or all the key subgenres I listened to in 2023. Today, we're talking about the top 10 progressive death metal albums of 2023, and I think this is my fifth installment in this series. I did metalcore, mathcore, and deathcore as the first one, punk, hardcore, post hardcore as the second one, and then alternative indie art, psychedelic, and pop rock as my third, and I just did black metal as my fourth. Now we're on progressive death metal. I was going to do death metal as a whole, but there were so many good progressive death metal albums that I thought I'd focus on this very specific subgenre, and then my next video will likely be technical and melodic death metal. So without further ado, let's jump in with number 10, which is an EP. It's Lunar Chamber with Shambhalic Vibrations. This is progressive, it's technical, it's got some black metal and doom metal influences in the death metal. My favorite song here is Crystalline Blessed Light Flows from Violet Mountains into Lunar Chambers. I think that's what it's called. Wow, long song name. And it's the debut EP by this American band, so love to hear a debut come out as strong as this. I heard the single they released early called Spirit, Body, and the Seeing Self. That caught my interest. I think fans of Artificial Brain, Between the Buried and Me, Opeth, The Faceless, Wilderun, they'll all like this. It sounds like a mix of those bands, but definitely has its own unique identity. The closing track, which is my favorite track, is almost 13 minutes long. It ends with the part that really gives me Between the Buried and Me vibes. I believe they use fretless bass on a lot of the songs, and that always reminds me of Cynic and Intronaut when I hear fretless bass over progressive metal. The vocals are mostly brutal, like the harsh vocals in The Faceless, but there are some clean vocals. Number 9 is Horrendous with Ontological Mysterium. Great progressive death metal album. Check out the song Kersopria, The Archaeology of Dawn, for a preview. It's the fifth album by this band from the US. Extremely brutal vocals on here. The band name definitely makes sense then. It's called Horrendous, and to a lot of people it would probably sound horrendous, at least on the vocal front. But the music's pretty crazy here. If you're a fan of Cynic's first album, Focus, I think you might like this, as well as if you're a fan of the band Vector, because it's also got that fast, intense, and technical side of it that Vector has. Vector's kind of like progressive thrash metal with black metal vocals. This has that kind of feel where it's like extremely fast and almost thrashy death metal with extreme vocals. Number 8 is Rannoch with Conflagrations. It's the third album by this band from the UK. If you like Ne Obliviscaris and Opeth, I see no reason why you wouldn't like this. Check out the song Threads. Number 7 is Apotheus with Ergo Atlas. Check out Shape and Geometry from this one for a preview. It's the third album by this band from Portugal. For fans of Opeth's progressive death metal material, the album manages to be both heavy and powerful, with great death metal growling vocals and heavy parts with distorted guitars, and then beautiful and hypnotic moments with great clean vocals and soft parts. It's interesting because even the heavy distorted guitar and growling parts sound relaxing to me. So this isn't like a thrashing ear head banging, crushingly heavy, go smash some stuff. It's kind of more like a hypnotic, relaxing journey, even though it's heavy and distorted and growling. It's got this doomy quality to it where you can put it on, get in the zone, and feel relaxed the whole way through. Number 6 is Wintersea and their album Woven into Ashes. This is progressive. It's very melodic. It's kind of like melodic death metal, but very proggy as well. There's some black metal and post-metal influences in here. It's the third album by this American band. Female vocals here with both singing and screaming, intense guitar playing and fast drumming, lots of energy and brutality, but also beautiful atmosphere and melody. I think fans of Ginger will like this because it's got a similar strong female vocal lead here and a lot of intensity. My favorite track is At the Gloaming Void. And number 5 is Vinsta and their album Freiweiten. progressive melodic death metal with acoustic and folk influences. Check out the song Schwoze Lachen. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of these things because this is an Austrian band. It's their third album. This band started out as a folk project, but then got heavier and evolved into progressive death metal. You don't see that happen very often. It usually goes the other way, by starting heavy and then softening. Fans of Opeth will like this a lot, as it sounds like Opeth back when they did Death Growls. They've also got violin though, so that gives them another added flavor that Opeth doesn't have. And this band mostly has clean vocals, both male and female. But they also have a decent amount of harsh vocals. Some of the distorted electric guitar riffs on this album just sound so evil and heavy like old Opeth, but then the folky passages are just so beautiful. Number 4 is Alkaloid with Newman. Check out the song Clusterfuck for a preview here. The third album by this German band. This is the first I heard from them, but I went back and I listened to their first 2 albums right after hearing this. They're also stellar. Some moments sound like technical death metal and remind me of The Faceless and early Cynic. Some moments sound like classic prog and remind me of King Crimson. There's lots of great guitar shredding on here, lots of brutal growling vocals, but also some nice melodic clean singing from time to time. Upon listening to this and then Googling the band, I learned they were formed by current and former members of Obscura, Obsidious, which are both bands that I love, and then Necrophagus, Aborted, Dark Fortress, Non-Euclid, and Blotted Science. So these are veteran players from very technical and aggressive bands. Number 3 is Stormhaven with Blindsight. Check out the song Dominion on here. This is the 4th album by this French band for fans of Opeth and Wilderun. The last track is a prog epic that's almost 25 minutes long. That's Dominion. It's my favorite track on the album. I also put it in my best epics of the year list. Check out the video on my channel on that. I've got a top 25 prog epics of the year. Another band that I only just discovered this year, Stormhaven, but then I listened to all their albums right after hearing this, and they're all great. Number 2 is Omnirod with The Immensal Rise. Check out the song Satellites for a preview of this. It's the 3rd album by this Belgian band, but the first of theirs that I heard, and I've got to say, I was blown away. Another one for fans of Wilderun, Nailed the Viscaris, and a bit of Devin Townsend sprinkled in. With the clean vocals, they have that power that Devin has. Every member of the band brought their A game in their performances, and the compositions are just epic journeys here. And then my number 1 for progressive death metal of 2023 is The World is Quiet Here the band's called The World is Quiet Here. The album's called Zon. The song Aphelion on here is my favorite song on the album. Definitely check it out. This is the 2nd album by this American band. If you're a fan of Between the Buried and Me and Others by No One, check this out because it's got the weird quirkiness like they have. Features some great guest appearances from Key Po Hawk, who toured with Native Construct. I have a great guest appearance with him on my channel and one of my songs called Purify, so check that out if you want to hear him play an underground solo that not a lot of people have heard because my stuff's not that popular, but he's on there. And then Max Mowbray from Others by No One is also featured on Zon by The World is Quiet Here. The vocals on this album are just wild. I love how the vocalist has these clean vocals that are in a low register, and then his harsh vocals, he goes all over the map. So check this out if you want to hear acrobatic, intense vocals and wild music that's very adventurous. That's it for my 10 favorite progressive death metal albums of 2023. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments. Hopefully I've heard pretty much all of them. I mean, if I hear about a progressive death metal album that came out in 2023, chances are I checked it out. So if you know of any, let me know. I'd like to hear them all. And stay tuned for next time. If you like death metal, I'll probably be talking about technical and melodic death metal in my next one. Until then, peace out.